Hey, all my Libra friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your January 2024 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology in the Pacific time zone. They are, when I talk about the house structure, I'm basing that on Libra rising. This is also applicable to Libra moon, Libra sun. And if you have 3 or more personal planets in Libra, that's a stellium. And this is very applicable to you as well. So let's just jump right in because we ended 2023 with Mercury retrograde. And on the first day of the year, we see Mercury stationing direct. We also have it within a loose orb to Mars. And I think this is significant because Mars is currently within 1 degree of the galactic center. The galactic center is at 27 degrees, 16 minutes of Sagittarius. It is a point where we can access the quantum fields for information, for downloads, for inspired solutions to things. The end of the year during this Mercury retrograde of 2023 was really a good time for meditating, for problem solving, connecting with your team, with the universe. And here we see Mars as it's about to move into its exaltation. It is getting to really strategize and take notes and be brave and think new thoughts. That's Sagittarian, moving in a new direction. And Mercury is going to be going over this spot within about a week. And as it gets closer and closer to it, Mercury is integrating what it had experienced in the way of revelations as it went through the galactic center the first time. Then it retrograded out of Capricorn, and now we're going back over it on the 11th, I believe it is. But we'll get more to that because this Mercury retrograde energy here at this time hasn't happened since 2016, 2017. And so there's a significant amount of I think review of your beliefs, review of your philosophies, taking action for you as a individual, and knowing how as an individual you will contribute to your partnerships. Libra rules partnerships, it rules harmony, it rules peace, it rules diplomacy, it rules things that make our world feel nice and cozy and comfortable and fair. And here we are seeing Libra, I think, start to broaden the way that they're thinking. As Pluto has been squaring Libra for years, here this is an opportunity to integrate that experience and then set a certain intention for this particular year coming up, and allowing for the brave action that Mars will want. Mars will want, as it moves into its exaltation, it's going to have its second highest vibration to its own rulership. So it's a welcome guest. They'll roll out the red carpet, the china will come out. It's very Libra would rule the event that would welcome Mars into Capricorn. So while there is that square in the natural order of things, I think here this is an opportunity to be aware of an old version of yourself, or a version of yourself that might have been overly cooperative, overly concerned about others. And here is you're stretching for a little bit more independence in your wants and desires. This isn't about being alone. It's about putting yourself a priority. And if you want to do something fun, or you want to endeavor some sort of education, or you want to endeavor something new and different, you put that as a priority, because I think that's what this Mercury retrograde has offered you as it's been going through your 3rd house. The 3rd house represents how you think, how you speak. It represents all communications. It also represents interactions with your neighborhood, your communities. It can represent your children. Mercury represents just about every little thing we do on this planet. So I think this is a really powerful time to continue to harness the opportunity as these 2 planets are conjunct the galactic center. And if you have any personal planets within 3 to 5 degrees of 27 degrees of Sagittarius. This is very significant and indicates a soul's intention for this lifetime in a way that helps humanity. And it also gives you access in a with more ease to those quantum fields. It's like a natural talent you could have. We also see your ruling planet, Venus, heading towards the great attractor, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's see Mars in Capricorn as it moves in on the 4th. I'm going to move this time to 12 p.m. And as Mars moves into Capricorn, this is moving into your 4th house of home, of property, of your family. The mother naturally is depicted within the 4th house. So here we see the Capricorn energy, and Capricorn is pragmatic and responsible and dutiful. It can be methodical and a bit somber. It can be very ambitious. And so as we see Mars move into Capricorn, we see it here at the 0 degree. It's also on the world axis. So I think this is an opportunity to look at, I want to say for Libra, the South Node is traversing your 1st house. And in that way, it is asking you to be egoless to maybe the opinions of others as you allow that North Node in your 7th house in Aries to, again, have yourself be a priority in partnerships. So here, I think this is also about putting yourself as a priority in your home life, as being brave and being able to put new structures that allow you to integrate your history, because I don't believe we can release or forget the things that have happened to us, but we can make them work for us. And Mars is really good at cutting through the muck on some level. And you can also sharpen your sword of justice here within the 4th house by making yourself a priority. Mars will start a sextile with the natural ruler of your 4th house, Saturn. And Saturn, it represents structure, boundaries, limitations. It's the rule maker. You can feel a bit of control through Saturn because it's so strong in its leadership of wanting to really keep us defined as we have been known. Okay, that's the more earthly side of Saturn. But as Saturn becomes Saturn's here in Pisces. So Saturn's having a very spiritual experience here. It's divining itself through new eyes. So when I think of Saturn ruling the golden age, I think it's offering us an opportunity as you're brave here within your 4th house of how you want. This could even be being brave about where you want to live, about stretching yourself into new territory that may up until now have felt out of your reach, but with a little bit of disciplined thought, I say thought also because here's Mercury up here going over that galactic center for the 3rd time, offering you support from the universe and an opportunity to maybe even quiet the monkey mind here, because Saturn is a leadership sign, or a leadership planet. And so as Mars is moving into Capricorn and making this great aspect to Saturn, it's giving me an opportunity to sort of reinvent my history. And Pisces is naturally your 6th house of work. So this is also being able to think that, or it's also your mental health, your 6th house. And it is how you feel enslaved to things. It rules your traditionally the 6th house, they called it a house of slavery. And so I think that sometimes we endeavor jobs that we think are going to supply security, and yet they become this golden noose. So here there's a real renovation of that idea and a rewrite of it. And your bravery about, first aligning to, okay, I feel good about where I want to go. I'm going to take it in little steps, because we also see Mars making and in a growing trine to Jupiter in Taurus. So this is using your skills, and this is also the house that your ruling planet co-rules, and it's also a house of personal history. So as you give life to your dreams, to birthing a part of yourself that doesn't necessarily have to reject where you've been. It's more including yourself. It's like you're merging the car of your life into the highway of your life. Or the car that is the individual you into the highway of your family, and carving a bigger place for yourself there, because we also see Mars making a trine to Eris. Eris is Mars's little sister. This is the street fighter. She stands up for what she believes in. She's very much like, to me, like a freedom fighter. She stands up for, people who don't have a voice. And here right now, Jupiter has gone direct in Taurus at the 5th degree of Leo, the heart degree, the courage degree. So I think this is a very powerful beginning of the year for my Libras. Let's move on to the 11th, where we'll see a new moon in Capricorn. Let me change the time here. In the Pacific, it's at 3:57 a.m. And I think this is significant because this is the third new moon at the 20th degree. And the degrees, each one has an influence, and this is the Scorpio influence, but it's the second time we're hearing the Scorpio influence or feeling the Scorpio influence. So it's a more seasoned energy of Scorpio, willing to dig deeper into what could potentially make me feel unworthy, make me feel unsure, make me feel not good enough. Here we are in the sign of Capricorn. We see this new moon is making a direct square to your first house, this is the South Node in Libra. And so this is really, again, it's kind of starting to realize that if Libra doesn't self-care, if Libra doesn't have a carrot to chase or a dream to chase and feel good about that, how good are you at really being a cooperative component? This is all about balance. Here we see, obviously, the nodes are always up in opposition. So now we see this new moon making a square to the North Node in Aries, the sign of self, the sign of that we were just talking about, Mars that rules Aries. So this is about being brave. And for me, Teri Hunter, I always perceive squares as like two sides of myself. One is my habitual thoughts, my habitual obligations, my habitual beliefs about myself. And then the other side is stretching for something that I want to experience, a bigger picture of myself, a real expansion. And so there's a tension. And because Libra is the sign of partnerships, it's always considering other people. So this is a little bit of a challenge, but when we plant the seeds in a new moon and we connect with spirit, this is the beauty of having that Mercury going over. Let's see where Mercury is right now. Mercury is exactly on the galactic center at this new moon, which is very powerful for those downloads, for those inspired ideas, for those solutions to come through. We also saw here that this new moon is making a trine in Taurus to Uranus at the Libra degree. Uranus rules unexpected things, lightning, it rules space and innovation and the collective consciousness, but it rules a liberation. And I think this is what is being offered, because a liberation for me is an integration which brings wisdom. So whatever that dark spot in my life was, this helps me. It helps make the color pop, and I can see that now, and I stretch more succinctly for it. We also see on this new moon, as I said, we have Mercury directly on the galactic center. Now we have Venus within just 1 degree of the great attractor. Now, the great attractor is, there are 4 points within the Shapley cluster, and this one represents an applying of the knowledge, and again, that integration, that the things that the planets have experienced as they went through the cluster. And this is the 3rd point, this is the 4th point. The first 2 were one in Libra and one in Scorpio, I don't want to give you a whole lesson on that, but what I want to say here is that this is where you can start feeling this feeling the two sides of yourself coming together in a way that creates a bigger picture for everyone. And this whole sequence of planets at the new moon, this 15-degree Venus, your self-worth, your talents, your skills, your sense of financial freedom. Here, this is Mercury at the mercurial degree, broadening those everyday thoughts and integrating them. Here's Mars and Gemini, by the way, this is the Gemini degree. So we've got 2 Gemini degrees, Venus at Gemini degrees. So we're our self-worth, we're rethinking those things. We're integrating and incorporating all those things through this galactic center. And then we're being brave as Mars is being welcomed into this house of building new structure. And again, this is your 4th house of home. So this new moon, while you plant the seeds in the dark of night, your continued focus on what it is that you want to experience that's new and different and offers you something completely fulfilling. And not saying that there won't be challenges along the way, but when we're working towards something that we love, those challenges reframe themselves. So I think this is really powerful. And I don't know if I said it earlier, I think I did. This is your 8th house of transformation. It's also the house of other people's money for you. So you could be birthing something that actually does bring financial resources to you. We go from this new moon where Mercury will enter Capricorn on the 13th. It's a little later in the day. I've moved this back to noon, but now we see Venus is still within orb of the great attractor. So focusing in on spending time again, allowing the universe to bring the evidence that you will need so that you have the thoughts and you feel secure in your everyday life. Your speech, your self-talk is aligned to that which you want to birth onto the material plane. That's the way I want to put it. Okay, and let's see here. As Mercury moves into Capricorn, it will begin a trine here with Jupiter. Now, traditionally, again, these 2 planets rule the opposite signs of the wheel. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, Mercury ruling Gemini. This is my everyday thoughts. This is my broad, expanded thoughts. But now when we take them and we dig a little deeper, we can see that Jupiter represents commerce, branding, influencing. It's an expansive energy that when you apply your skills, you could start to see yourself building something on a platform, potentially the internet. I don't know, it doesn't have to be, but this is the way technology is taking us, and just staying the course, allowing Eris's trying to make you brave and just taking it one step at a time. You're going to start to see evidence of your dreams coming true. I really think that. And now we're going to go to the 19th, where we're going to see things that I think are going to be interesting, because I think this conjunction between the sun and Pluto, which is going to happen for a couple of days, because on this day it's exact, but a few degrees within this on either side, we feel the influence. And I think something on the world stage is going to reveal itself. We're in the sign of Aquarius. We're headed into the sign of Aquarius. On this day, they're conjunct. On the next day, the sun moves into Aquarius, and the day after that, Pluto moves into Aquarius again for the first time since mid-2023. And we're going to see Pluto in Aquarius for pretty much the next 20 years. It'll take a very brief dip back into Capricorn, but for the most part, it's moving into the sign of renovation. And when I say renovation, our lives are going to completely change. We're going to have technological advances that become everyday devices, the way cell phones did. We're going to see potentially liberation from certain oppressions. We don't know. We could see a lot of things going on here. We still have Mars in Capricorn, and here Venus is on the galactic center now. She's a degree away from it. She in no time is going to move into Capricorn, and all these planets are going to start to become conjunct Pluto. So I think being aware, I get feelings like I did back where I'm having feelings when 2020, beginning of 2020 is all, a lot of the planets became conjunct Pluto. So here, I just think it's a time to be mindful, to keep your eye on your prize and not get too caught up in maybe the events of what's going on outside. It's always good to be mindful of events, but not to let it affect your intentions and where you want to move. Let's see. We go to now the 23rd, and we see that Venus has moved into Capricorn. You know, it's not the sign that she feels the most sexy in. It's not her most you know, she kind of buttons up a little bit here. She focuses more on building resource and money, and she gets a little more serious here. And here now we see Mercury and Mars have been traveling together. They're pretty much in a trine to Uranus. And I want to offer this because while this has been going on for a while, I think it's a lot of building on a new platform, building through technology, building in an innovative way of looking at yourself. And while you're still experiencing squares, you know, the nodes are always giving us some sort of reflection, and tension is definitely reflection. This is, again, you're deciding over and over again that as you take care of yourself and your dreams and feeling purposeful to you, not just how you're serving other people, that becomes a depleting energy. So while we love the people around us and we want to be good employees and we want to be good citizens in our neighborhoods, being good to ourselves helps facilitate that energy. And so I think this Venus, your ruling planet, moving into Capricorn is a time to really, you know, start to think pragmatically, be a leader in your own life, use your skills, and be willing to be disciplined while you implement the divine downloads that you received, or solutions or inspirations, while these planets went over the galactic center. And again, Mercury having gone over it 3 times. All right. We get to the 25th, and we have a full moon in Leo at 9:53 a.m. So here we see, here's the sun. It's still in a loose conjunction to Pluto, making its opposition to Leo's, your 11th house. This was the moon. I believe that it could potentially, this month could culminate with an awareness of something, or an unexpected opportunity that presents itself that requires bravery. You know, should I build that website? Should I, you know, post that video? Should I stretch into this area? Whatever brings you joy, whatever brings you a sense, again, of a feeling like, wow, I'm excited to get up in the morning, because these planets are all supporting you building now as they are making trines to the energy in Taurus, which is that house of transformation. There's an opportunity for you to build a stronger sense of, if we think about the 4th house, anything that you do that, like, if it is indeed buying a new home or investing in properties or becoming somebody who flips properties, or, you know, you decide that you want to create something sustainable and birth it on Amazon or the internet, all of this is a good time to really strategize and pace yourself and be patient with the ebb and the flow, because every time you go into an ebb, you're going to feel a sense of a stall, but that stall is an opportunity for review, or an opportunity to feel the resources that you have on the inside as you emotionally work your way out of it. Because on the 27th, hold on. I wanted to say one other thing. Excuse me. Pardon me. I lost myself. This, the sun is making a square right now to Jupiter. And I think that is what I was kind of referring to is here's the outside world. The sun is how we see things. It's our ego projection. And then Jupiter is very much, it's like a philosophical thing. And so I'm having to believe in myself. And also it represents business and commerce. So here, this is trusting on a very deep level that the things that come to you, the ideas that come to you, or the information that says, that's not going to work, it's time to readjust, or that partnership, are you tucking under trying to be a partnership? An illumination is not always negative. I think this is about following your heart. This is at the 5th degree, which is the Leo degree. The moon is here in Leo. Leo is your 11th house. And this is trusting that if you birth it, they will come, they will appreciate you, they will applaud you, they will honor you. That's the way I want to put it. All right, now let's go to the 27th. And this is where Uranus, again in your 8th house, is making an exact trine to Mars and Mercury at the Leo degree. Again, here's your 4th house. This is your 8th house. This is a deep, the 8th house is really, it's a house of control and power. Normally, it's a house where we experience death and rebirth. It's a house that represents taxes, inheritances, other controlling, sex, criminal behavior. That's it, the natural house, 8th house of Scorpio. When you overlay the Taurus energy, I think we really play to how do I give up my power? They're natural opposites on the wheel. So am I applying my skills and trusting that those skills, whether they be emotional skills, psychological skills, financial skills, beauty skills, whatever they are, am I trusting my inner knowing that says that I'm good enough? That's the deep psychological imprint that the 8th house represents. And Taurus can represent a sense of insecurity because our family did not give us a strong sense of self in our youth. So here there is this opportunity to really liberate that story. Mercury rules youth. Mars is here, rather than being pissed off, I want to be brave. And there is this 2.5 to Venus, making it feel a little bit uncomfortable because she's here at the Leo degree, and she's in a sign that is practical and pragmatic and isn't about her. And it's the 4th house. So she's really, your ruling planet might be feeling a little bit, like it's them or it's me. And that's where we see this quincunx to the South Node. This is a challenging dynamic as well. It's like a blind spot. It's almost as if in that moment, somewhere emotionally, you feel like I've got to give up me to be for everybody else. And I'm not sure it has to get that extreme. So while the month feels a little bit, it's almost as if for my Libras that there's an inner something going on, almost like an inner revolution. But I don't think that revolution has to blow up your outside world. I think it could actually fuel it in a very positive and very expansive way, because as you become happy about the things that you birth for yourself, you bring that energy back into the home, and you also can be a very inspiring creature to those around you. So, all right, my Libras, that's it for January 2024. I think the year starts off with a bang. I think it's going to be a very powerful year. It's setting up the decade, or the 2 decades of Pluto. So be gentle with yourself. Don't be too critical if you can help it. All right, everybody, have a wonderful January, and we'll see you soon.